It's official. Twitter 2.0 is live. Now, on the 26th of October, Elon Musk walked into the Twitter headquarters carrying a sink. And this symbolized the start of his reign as the head of Twitter. Now, there have been strong reactions. There have been some people who have been happy. There have been some people who have been angry, and there have even been threats of deplatforming. And we know who I'm talking about there. But that's all a different story. What I'd like to talk about is the new features that are coming to Twitter. Elon Musk has actually talked about these features as being part of the roadmap, and these features are likely to be coming very soon. So I thought it'd be really good if we can have a conversation about that. Okay, let's get started. Bear with. Right. Okay, I'm just going to bring up some details. So a couple of days ago, Elon Musk, he shared some slides that he'd given in an internal meeting about the direction that he wants to take Twitter in. So let's bring them up. Okay, Twitter 2.0, the everything app. Now, in case you don't know, Elon Musk has said he would like to make a everything app. And there is an example of this. If you haven't heard of what an everything app is, in China. Now, it's called WeChat. And this is like a Twitter, but ramped up to the max. It has a lot of extra features. And what it means is that multiple users, they use it because it's got multiple different functions. So it's not just a messaging app. It allows users to order cabs in the same way that we can order Ubers. It allows people to use it for a number of different functions, ordering food, for example, or to send money. So it is a very useful app with a load of different features. And because of this, people who use it are spending more time on it, and it's making more profit. And so what Elon has said he'd like to do is elevate his app into making it into one of these super apps. And the words he's used, or the phrase he's used, is the everything app. So we all know about Twitter and how it's actually cut a lot of its staff. It had, when Elon joined, 7,500 staff, and at the moment it's now under 2,900 staff. It's probably a bit less actually. And a lot of the people were contractors. A lot of the people that he got rid of were contractors, and a lot of the people were in different roles that he just didn't feel were necessary. So there's been a huge reduction in staff. Now, there has been concerns that this huge reduction in staff is purely from the moderation team, the people who oversee what is allowed, what isn't allowed on Twitter. But what Twitter has actually come out and said, the previous head of the safety team has said, is that only 15% of the moderation team have been removed. So what that means is essentially that moderation is still being dealt with properly, fully by Twitter. So before we go into the new features, Elon has actually talked about, he's presented some slides about how things have changed and at Twitter and the way he sees it progressing. So he shared this one chart, which I think is especially interesting. And what it shows is the growth of all new user signups. Now, if we look at 2014, it was under 1 million. If we look into at 2022, it's now over 2 million. Now, the reason for showing this, apart from the fact that it demonstrates that Twitter is improving, it's getting more people to join, it's very relevant because not all social media platforms are progressing. So if we have a look at Facebook, now Facebook, that is the mega app. That is the mega social media app. It's been profitable for years. It has a massive user base worldwide. But this year has been the first year where it's seen a drop in the user base and also a drop in profits. And let's have a look if we can bring that up here. Oh, well, I haven't got a stat for that. But um, let me read out something to you. Facebook had 2.934 billion monthly active users in July 2022, but which is of course incredible. That's an incredible number. But the total number of people that use Facebook each month decreased by roughly 2 million per day in the 3 months leading up to July 2022. So this signals that there is a shift. There is a shift in the way people are using Facebook, and there are less people using it than before. So it may be that slowly, definitely in the West, it seems, with younger users, Facebook is perhaps falling out of favor. And so, so Twitter has an opportunity here to grow its audience, to grow its user base, and that is something that there's great potential with that. Okay, so the MDAO is the monetizable daily active users, and this is really a statistic to do with how many people are logging on each day and how many people are potentially customers. Right, now let's get to the actual features of what Twitter 2.0 is. Now, you know what a standard advert on Twitter is if you've used it. It's a static tweet basically, or it may have a video with it. What Elon Musk would like to do is innovate with the adverts, make them different, make them more interactive. So if we have a look at this is an example advert, and it is for the House of Dragons, the TV show from HBO. Now, if you have a look at it, it's got a message there and it says, like this tweet, and I'll analyze your profile so you know which house you belong to and what role you would have in the world. So it is an interactive tweet. And so it's something a little bit different. It might give you an idea. It might make it more interesting to the user and make them want to interact with the advert. And then the user will perhaps get a customized response particular to them. So this is fun, it could be engaging, and it may, depending on how Twitter works, it allow the people running the advert to gain statistics or information about the user if it's allowed. So that's something a little bit different. And yeah, it could definitely make things interesting. Excuse me. Now video. Video is a big thing. If you've used Twitter, you will see that video, in terms of quality, it is not very high quality. It tends to pixelate. It tends to be 720p quality, not even full HD. And it also seems to be an afterthought. Yes, some people do use it. Some people share their videos on it, but it's not really the centerpiece. It's like an afterthought. And it's very important to get this right, because if you look at a company like Facebook, for so long, it was the de facto dominant social media platform. Had all these users using it. But when it came to video, it's like it wasn't using it properly. It just used it for um, allowing people to share memes effectively, people making spaghetti on their counters, and it didn't really utilize it it didn't really provide users with a good video library that users could go to and use it. In the same way that YouTube has got a good video library. So it might be that you would have video on your feed, but it's not really, Facebook didn't really provide a searchable platform. So Twitter has got this big opportunity here. It's got an opportunity to make video interesting and useful so that anybody who tweets has more interest in the videos because it's going to be more attractive because of the way it looks. But also Twitter's got an opportunity to make people want to use it, because at the moment with YouTube, content creators can make videos and make money from those videos. There isn't actually a process to do that on Twitter. You can't monetize your videos on Twitter. So if Twitter can make content creators, allow them to make their videos monetizable, that's going to be a big draw to them. It could be a place that people could go to and upload their videos and make some money from. And another aspect is, of course, TikTok has had phenomenal growth over the past 2-3 years, and that's great growth. Oh, excuse me, then. It has been phenomenal growth with that, and with Facebook, it has been slow to replicate this. It's tried to replicate it with Instagram, but because of the way it's handled it it hasn't worked brilliantly. And so there are a lot of users who feel that Instagram is not doing what it should be doing. But Elon Musk is talking about bringing back Vine, which was the original short form video service that kind of, you could say, inspired TikTok. So there's a big growth opportunity there, and it'd be interesting to see if Elon Musk can really get going with this, if he can actually make video a big part of Twitter, because there really isn't a YouTube competitor in the same way that YouTube is a platform that offers all types of videos. So we'll see. And Mr. Beast is, of course, one of the biggest YouTubers at the moment, one of the biggest content creators. He's got over 100 million subscribers. And he actually said to Elon Musk, he sort of challenged him about the possible compensation. And he said, some YouTubers get over 20 RPMs, $20 RPMs. And what that basically means is for every 1,000 views, they can get potentially $20, which is a lot of money. I mean, the average is probably about $4 to $6. And so Mr. Beast challenged Elon Musk on that. And so I think it's really good, because we'll see if Musk is going to try and make a whole ecosystem where people can make money from from Twitter. Right, encrypted DMs. Now, DMs, direct messages, so you can be a user and you send a message to another user. It should be a given, it should be standard that your message is encrypted. It hasn't been. It hasn't been. And of course, the problem with this is that there is scope for people intercepting your messages, people viewing your messages. And I don't know if there's also an undercurrent of meaning in that potentially previous Twitter staff were intercepting users' messages. Nothing to say there is, but the point is, if it's not encrypted, there's always a way for staff to do that, should they have wanted. So having encrypted messages, encrypted DMs is very important, particularly in countries where user safety is important and you need to communicate with others. So yes, definitely it's going to be a good idea to bring that in. Right, long form tweets. Now, the USP of Twitter has always been its short messages, its tweets. And they are great because you can communicate a quick message to others quickly, easily, and that's been pretty good. But what if you want to say something longer? You can't. And so the way people have been trying to deal with this issue is they deal with it with one of two ways. Either they share a link to a tweet longer, an extended message off platform, or they type up a message, take a photo of it, and they share it within Twitter. So it seems that these are both silly workarounds when Twitter could be providing a solution. So how can Twitter deal with keeping its USP, but also deal with this and provide a solution? And it's actually found a way, and this is with long-form tweets. And I'm going to try and bring up something here. Let me try and bring up long-form tweets. Bear with me, I'm just going to try and bring this up on screen. Okay, I hope you can see this here. Right. So this is a little animation demonstrating of what tweet longer will be. sorry, not of what tweet longer will be, of what longer tweets will be, long form tweets. And if you can see in this little video here, um, you can see the user is composing a message in the same way that people can compose messages in the WordPress blogging software. And it's pretty good, pretty straightforward. If you've used Blogger before, or if you've used WordPress before, I should say, it's quite straightforward. You enter your text, enter your messages, and then the way it would appear on Twitter is as a short message, and then there is a section which you can click to expand the message. So I think this is a great way of maintaining that short tweet heritage, but also are now allowing longer tweets. So that's something that's really useful there. Right, now if we head back to here, let's see. Right, now the relaunch of Twitter Blue. Now the blue check mark, the blue tick system, this was originally a way for verifying notable people, celebrities, journalists, and other notable people to confirm that they are who they say they are, so that there was no risk of impersonation. And being blue, having a blue check mark, it also bestowed certain privileges, so that when you would tweet to others, your name, if you were a blue check mark, your name would appear at the top of the list. And also there were ways that you could communicate a little bit easier with other people who had the blue check mark. Now, one of the problems with this is that with the original team who were deciding who should be given the blue check mark, it seemed that there were some people who were notable. Um, they had substantial followings, whether they were on YouTube or in the public space. However, they were not given blue check marks. So what was the reason they were not being given blue check marks? And there is a suspicion from Elon Musk and others that they were not being given blue check marks because of their political leanings, because perhaps they were too right leaning, for example. And so what this then meant were that the promoted voices, the people who were using Twitter and had blue check marks, it then meant that there was a, a an imbalance in that there were more people from the left, people who voted left, let's say, people who had a left point of view. And so what Musk is wanting to do is try and get rid of all of this system of kings and servants and whatever, and create a new checkmark system. Now, this checkmark system, the reason for having it is actually to create an even playing field in terms of, you know, who can have one. But more than that, it's to generate some income. So there will be a charge for it. The blue checkmark system, or the relaunch blue verified, it's going to be $8 in the US, and I think it's £6 in the UK. And it's also coming to other countries as well. But the point is, not everybody needs to have this. Not everybody needs a subscription to this to use Twitter. But if you do get it, if you are a person who spends a lot of time on Twitter for your business, and you use Twitter as a tool, a platform for promoting your business, then that sort of money each month is not a lot to pay, really. So it means that you're going to be able to upload longer videos. You're going to have priority placement at the top of replies, mentions, and searches. And that's really good because you're trying to get your product out there, your brand out there. You want as many people to be able to see it or to be able to hear your message. So Blue Verified, it's actually now, there is a lot of upset in the media. A lot of people, journalists who have previously dominated this field with the blue check marks, they perhaps are upset that they are going to have to reapply for the blue check mark and perhaps pay for it. But it's because this system of blue check marks has been repositioned. It's no longer going to be just for notable people. It's now going to be a product for people who want to prioritize their brand. Okay. Now the payment system. Musk hasn't directly spoken too much about this, but what he does want to do is allow people to sell digital content and to transfer money. And he said he wants to turn it into a digital marketplace. This is what he said exactly: a place where people can shop for goods and be offered money market accounts. So when people do want to sell, they have to go off platform. If people have newsletters, newsletters have seen a huge growth area in the past couple of years with platforms like Substack. They have to go off platform. And Twitter has been really good in directing users to other platforms. But Musk wants to keep people on the platform and allow people to sell what they've got without having to go anywhere else. And so if you have, for example, digital art or newsletters or training courses, the fact that you could do that in the same place where you have your audience, where you have your following, that's really good because it means they don't have to go anywhere else. And then if there's that option to be able to take money, to be able to accept money directly through Twitter, then people will be spending more time on Twitter, seeing more adverts, and that is going to positively affect Twitter's bottom line. So that's a lot of good stuff happening in terms of features there. But just shortly before going live, Twitter has actually released a new tweet, and I'm going to show you. Let me take you to this. Okay. Right. So if we come here, Twitter Business has announced. Let's see, this new tweet here just came out about half an hour ago. Twitter 2.0, same mission, faster innovation, more transparency. So that's summing up the mission, the vision for where it's going. So faster innovation and more transparency. So we'll come to that. So there is a statement which it's released. And the gist of what it says is that, that Twitter is still maintaining its safety policies. It's not changing them. It's not changing them at all. So if we go to here, it says, our trust and safety team continues its diligent work to keep the platform safe from hateful conduct and abusive behavior and any violation of Twitter's rules. The team remains strong and well-resourced, and automated detection plays an increasingly important role in eliminating abuse. So, what can we discern from this? We can discern that moderation is still important to Twitter. It's still intending to make sure that that is going to keep abuse and hateful conduct out of the equation. But there was a mention to increase automated detection. And this is, AI being able to detect not just abusive words, but context as well. So this is interesting because it also means that there is less need for so many moderation staff. I mean, I previously worked in a moderation role for a large media company. And in the UK, for all the newspapers now that have that have allow users to submit their own comments, there is the opportunity. The way it's handled is basically you have automated moderation, which is computers detecting any foul words, etc. And then you also have the human element, which is humans going in and reading certain comments and making a decision on whether it's appropriate or not for the appropriate media newspaper. So by increasing the moderation of the automated moderation, I think what this also highlights is that Twitter is perhaps going to not be so concerned with, or is going to be concerned with hateful words, but not those incorrect ideas. Because this is a problem with some of these social media companies, which is that you can have different ideas, you can have different points of view from some people. Let's talk about, for example, a person discussing their personal identity, how they view themselves. Some people may have a different view about that, and that may not be allowed. But with Twitter, the new Twitter, it's going to be allowing that as long as it's not abusive. Will that be effective? We have to wait to see if it's going to be effective. But that's definitely one element. And also, there is some comment about experimentation with new technology. Right? Our team of experts is constantly adapting to identify and diffuse threats. Bear with me. Okay. As we embark on this new journey, we will all make mistakes. We will learn and we will also get things right. Throughout, we'll communicate openly with our users and customers to get and share your feedback as we build. So, Twitter is going to be experimenting with new features. It's going to be putting them out there. And it means that there's going to hopefully be more innovation at a faster rate. Uh, so that means new features, as we've seen with the new Twitter Blue. It was introduced, and a couple of days later, it was taken offline because there was some abuse of the feature. People were making these fake accounts of notable persons and using it to create all sorts of hilarity, let's say. But Musk, he's actually commented on this directly. So this is what he said. And this is to do with the direction and the control of what's been happening behind the scenes at Twitter. So this is the most significant, really. He said, the obvious reality, as long-time users know, is that Twitter has failed in trust and safety for a very long time and has interfered in elections. Twitter 2.0 will be far more effective, transparent, and even-handed. Now, this is a very strong, very bold claim to say that Twitter has interfered in elections. Because if it has, to be such an influential platform, it's maybe there's even the risk that the persons involved directly broke some crimes or broke some laws and committed a crime. So, is Musk being hyperbolic with this? Well, he needs to supply some evidence. He needs to supply some evidence as to what Twitter has done to interfere with democracy. And this is a great crime, really, if that's actually been happening. So he has actually referred to this earlier in the week that he will perhaps release some information to do with this. But it raises the question, and it's a question that is not unknown. People are aware of this question, definitely in the media. And the question is, if Twitter has interfered with elections, then have other social media companies interfered as well? And in what way? So the other big platforms are Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Google, of course, behind it. So those are the major platforms. And the idea that these platforms could have interfered with elections, it's going to upset a lot of people and it's going to energize a lot of conversations. But Musk has to actually supply evidence with this. So we're going to wait and see on this. But the point being that Elon Musk is stating that Twitter is not going to interfere. And behind the scenes, what this actually means is how do social media companies interfere? Well, what we do know is that they can suppress content from people that are unsuitable, and I'll leave the definition of unsuitable to yourself. It can suppress their content. It can stop them appearing in searches. It can hide their content so that it just doesn't appear. And the strongest action it can take is by banning people. So has there been an imbalance with the amount of people that have been banned by social media companies? In time, this is a conversation that will come out that will be interesting, and we'll have to wait and see what happens with this. But this is the start of Elon Musk's reign on Twitter. This is the beginning. And so what actually happens, what features are coming, it all begins now. The new Twitter Blue is set to launch. It was meant to launch today, I believe, but there have been some delays. But that will be coming very soon. These new features, I have no doubt that we will be seeing them within a month. Definitely some by the end of the year. And I think it's going to get very exciting, very interesting. So, whatever your views on Twitter, whatever your views on what's been happening, how it's been handled, if it's been going well or not, I think no one can argue really that it's been a very interesting week. It's been a very interesting month, and I think this is the start of interesting times for um, the social media platforms. So, thank you for watching, and we'll chat again soon. Cheers.